Well, Coach Lofton, thanks for joining us. First of all, glad you're back and better. I know you missed the league game, but tell me what you saw when you looked at game film about your team's performance and what you liked.
Well, I just liked that we competed. And, when things haven't gone like you expected them to and like you wanted them to, and you keep coming up short, disappointment, and I've always said losing brings the worst out in everybody. And, it's been tough. We're not going to sugarcoat that, but to our guys' credit, they have continued to battle and played well most games and had opportunities to win quite a few games that we just hadn't been able to do so. So, the effort and the heart that the guys have continued to have despite not having the success that we all dream about and want.
Talk a little bit about the maturity of Xavion Dillon over the course of the season. He had his best game of the year against Lee and really played with a lot of fire and a lot of discipline in that ball game.
Well, he's been inconsistent. His first couple of games, he scored well for us. He's had a difficult time remembering some of our offensive sets for whatever reason, and sometimes he's in the wrong place. Obviously, he's a talented, athletic basketball player that we need on the floor, and I've told him that we need to get him more minutes. He's got to get more comfortable with our system, and he just hasn't got there. But you got to realize that he sat out, almost 2 years away from organized basketball, and I think that's something that I know our coaching staff didn't. We realized it, but we didn't really focus on that. We saw what he was doing in practice, which he was dominating a lot of our practices and was our best player a lot of days in practice. And so, but practice is different than games. And some of the games he's gotten into just had a hard time executing what we want him to do and be where he's supposed to be when he's supposed to be there. And I think Saturday he was more comfortable with what we're trying to do and what he's supposed to do. And obviously it showed with his performance. And for us to win games, we need him playing well.
Against Lee, the Choctaws had 27 assists, which was the most on the season, and tied for the fewest turnovers in the ball game. And those two specific statistics have been issues all year, but they've really improved over the last couple of weeks of this season, and it's a sign that this team is getting better.
Well, I don't think there's any question, and you want to be playing your best basketball at the end of the year. And if you look at we took Valdosta to double overtime. Well, they're a nationally ranked basketball team, and then we've had West Florida. We had a shot to win against them. We've had numerous opportunities to win games against good basketball teams, and just Wilson sometimes bounces your way, and then sometimes when it's going bad, it continues to go bad, and you got to find a way, like we did on Saturday, to fight our way out of it and try to get a W. And really proud of our guys that they've been able to hang together despite things not going well for them, despite the disappointment, and able to get that win. And hopefully that'll give us some confidence as we finish these last 4 games.
Christian Brothers on Thursday night. Antonio Johnson had a good game against them the first time around, and he had a nice shooting night against Lee. And we've talked about how if he's got somebody in his face, sometimes that maybe is not his shot, but he had very little space to shoot against Lee and still made some really clutch shots.
Well, since he got off to a great start, teams have really focused in on him, and rightfully so. And if you look at the stats of our other perimeter players, most of them not going as well as we need them to go. Davey Fisher shot the ball better, but our opponents have really focused on slowing AJ down, and they have. They've done a great job defensively, and you can't blame them, especially when you look at the numbers of the other guys. And so, he doesn't get a lot of great open looks, not as many as we would like for him to, as he would like to get. Doesn't have a lot of space, but despite that, he's continued to put up good numbers. And quite honestly, Reed, we need him to put up those numbers desperately. We haven't been a very consistent offensive team, and for us to score on the perimeter, he's the guy that's got to get us some.
Well, again, CBU Thursday, and then Union back home for Senior Day on Saturday. You got 3 seniors: DeAndre Haynes and Jared Case and Byron McCall. What are those guys meant to this program?
All 3 tremendous guys. Typical, the spitting image of what an athlete at Mississippi College should be. Play, act, and live like champions, and that's how I would classify all 3 of those young men. they're going to all three graduate from Mississippi College and be, I think, well representative of being an alumni and a former basketball player. And hopefully they make a lot of money and donate back to the program. You know, Jared is a guy that is special to me. He's from my hometown of Brookhaven. Starter here as a freshman. And things haven't gone for him in terms of playing, but he's remained a good teammate. He encourages the guys on the bench. And I tell them, you know, whatever their role is, do it to the best of your ability. And, you know, he's a math major, he's smart, probably going to be a coach like his dad and his brother, and probably be a really good coach. Very smart. And, you know, I like to start our seniors, so I'm not going to say for sure that we'll start all those seniors, but more than likely on Saturday we'll have all those guys in the starting lineup, and he certainly deserves it, as well as, you know, the other two have been starters pretty much the last two years. And so but, you know, Jared is I'm proud of all of them, and we're certainly going to miss him. Byron is not a great offensive player, but he's our best defender, and he brings it every day. And, you know, for us to have a chance to win games, DeAndre has to play well. And I know I was in the athletic director's office this morning, and we discussed that very fact, that if you look at our team, when we've played well, he's played well. Mm-hmm. When he's been a little off, we've been off. Mm-hmm. And so for us to go up in Memphis and have a chance to win at Christian Brothers, we're going to all have to play well, but especially DeAndre, and I think he will. He told me yesterday, he said, Coach, I was telling him, I said, you know, we hadn't won a game on the road this year. And I said, we got 3 at-bats left. I said, you know, we need to get all 3 of them, but we need to get that first one. And Memphis said, Coach, we're going to get that done. And so, you know, I told him up at Delta State that I was tired of the swoop on my hairdo, and I said, if we win this game, we're going to shave my head. And so, and I don't think, as confident as he is, I'm going to make that promise, because I need to keep the swoop a little longer, but I might. And, you know, I'm not sure how much a motivational tool that is, but when you go through what we've been through, you're willing to try about anything. And, you know, I've been coaching a long time and been blessed with a lot of good players, and hadn't had many seasons like the one we're currently having, obviously, but you know, hopefully our guys will play the way we're capable of playing. We're going to need to. You know, Christian Brothers is tied for 4th, and I think they got the tiebreaker on West Florida right now. And so if the season ended today, they would play a home game of the first round of the tournament, and that's huge for them. And so, you know, they're coming off a loss at West Florida and Valdosta this past weekend, but 3 of their guys got food poisoning and didn't get to play against Valdosta. And so, you know, they need to win games to continue to hold that 4th spot in the tournament. They're going to make the tournament, but they want to play at home in the first round. And so we're going to get their best punch. And, you know, I hadn't had any success against Coach Nienaber. You know, he's one of our graduates, one of our former players. I did beat him when he was a high school coach here at Clinton, and I was a high school coach, but we hadn't been fortunate enough to win against Christian Brothers, one of the 2 schools that we hadn't defeated since we got back in the conference. And so hadn't beaten Shorter yet. We had them beat the other night, and we let them off the hook, but hopefully we can end that streak also come Thursday night up in Memphis. We're certainly hoping to.
Coach, thanks for your time. Good luck.
Thank you, Reed.